Hello, hi, and welcome to another episode of the Emma Gunn Show. And this is, some of you might have missed some content from me last week. I know I felt very bad about the fact that I didn't sit down and record episodes as usual. But I had a lovely coffee with my friend Andrea on Friday, and we were saying how she is also a content creator, and how whilst you as the content creator might feel a huge gap in the service that you're providing or the content that you're creating, it might not necessarily feel like there is missing content for the end user. But if it has indeed felt as though there was quiet from me last week, it was simply because I got a migraine. And actually, looking back, because it was one of the worst migraines I've had in about 2 years, and my frequency of migraines has got so much less frequent. The frequency is just reducing, but this was one that just wouldn't let go. And every time I thought it was gone, I would move my head, or I would look at something and I'd suddenly bing, it would be back behind the eyeball. So it was a little bit of a pain. So that's why last week I sort of felt a bit off, and I decided to take the pressure off a little bit and get essential work done. And then when it came to creating content, I just felt a bit like, do I really want to put myself on camera looking like this? And the answer was no. But also, it sort of links into what we've spoken about recently in terms of being super duper organized. So for those of you who might have missed out or missed this, in the early few episodes of this year of the podcast, was talking about how I wanted to be really organised. And part of it was having been inspired by my friend Anna's post on Substack about how to be super organised in 2025. And it was so popular, in fact, that India Knight actually shared it in her Sunday Times column. And there is something so appealing and attractive about being organised, about having everything where you left it, where it should be, easily accessible, to hand. There's this sort of fantasy that I think a lot of us live in, where we think that our lives will be good when, and that when is usually depicted by an ultra organized closet, a laundry pile that never spills over the side of the laundry basket, the clothes that never take a little bit longer than they should to dry, all of those sorts of things. Just everything. Cushions are always plumped, never karate chopped, apparently, according to Kelly Hoppen. That's gauche. But pillows are always plumped, cushions are always plumped, sofa cushions, bed pillows, all of those things. Everything is perfect. And the truth of the matter is, I just think if you're aspiring to that, you're going to start missing stuff. And I say that because I really did try for the first few weeks of this year to get to a version of that I've never been able to achieve before. I tried to digitize my organizational life. I tried to digitize everything so that I would feel that I was never missing something. I was never falling behind. I was never keeping people waiting. And I just came to the realization I was making life much harder than it needed to be. And actually, if the people that I'm dealing with, more socially than professionally, obviously, can't accept that every now and again I might not reply to their message immediately, or might forget that we said when we were going to do something and need a reminder, then they're probably not the sort of people that you want to be hanging around with, are they? Because I'm super understanding of friends when they do that. Even if it annoys me, I kind of understand, well, they might be dealing with stuff. So anyway, all of that's to say that the whole notion of Notion kind of fell by the wayside, because I just thought this isn't going to bring me towards or any closer to a version of myself that I think I can be. This is actually going to take me towards somebody who's more stressed, who's a little bit more fretful, because I'm delegating what always goes on in here, and always gets done, by the way, even if it looks or feels slightly chaotic. It always gets done, so why would I put it into an app? So that was what I was thinking about, and so that has given me such joy. But then interestingly, as soon as I stopped inputting everything into Notion, and as soon as I stopped looking at the app for what do I do next, because again, as I said, it was all up here. I tell you when it all comes out of my head, by the way, this is a little side note. When I'm in the shower in the morning, when I am in the shower and I'm unable to write or get my phone and make notes, that's when all of my tasks will go like a ticker tape, and it will just very cleanly tell me what I have to do. I just have to make sure, a little bit like the generation game, like mentioning all of the things on the conveyor belt, I just have to make sure that once I'm out of the shower and dry, makeup, moisturize, that kind of thing, that I remember all of those things in the same order when I get to my computer or when I'm out and about. Anyway, but what has happened since sort of thinking that while Notion might work for some people and that's fantastic, I just don't think it's right for me. I don't think it's right for my type of brain. I don't think it's right for the person that I have inadvertent commas successfully been for the last 47 years. It just doesn't really match, and so I'm trying to make myself something I'm not. But what I have done since I took a step back from that is there has been lots of organisation. So if you are following me on Instagram, you'll know that I've started doing these casual vlogs, and they're not very good, I'll be honest with you. They're not very good, because a really good vlog should be me taking you out into the world and, oh look, here I am, Buckingham Palace, and oh look, oh here's my friends, I'm in a blah, blah, blah. But actually it's usually just me sitting in front of the camera, either after a workout or as I sit down at my desk, sort of telling you what the day is going to be. I do try and take you out and about with me when I do those vlogs, but also phone theft in London is pretty horrific. So I also don't take my phone out of a bag unless I'm inside. So all of that's to say, I have started excuse me, these vlogs, and if you watched the one last week, you will have seen that Monday morning started last week with me thinking, oh, I'll just tidy the office. And then what happened is I took every single thing out of the cupboard, out of the drawers. I had the cull was insane. I got rid of so much stuff. I was so happy to donate excuse me, a lot of my early podcast equipment, which felt quite emotional doing, but also quite exciting because I donated it to a local charity shop, and the idea that somebody would maybe buy that microphone, which would then give some money towards a charity, but then they might create something exciting with it, felt rather pleasing. But there was a lot of shedding, which I just feel is interesting, sort of in the post trying to be super organized world. Like I woke up this morning even, and I have had this migraine. I've not felt particularly great, and I thought, well, I'm just going to be gentle with myself this week, because if you are a long-term migraine sufferer, you'll know that some of them are different, and sometimes you think they're gone and they haven't, and you have to sort of tread carefully. I'm treading carefully today is what I'm trying to say. So I went into the kitchen, I had a large glass of water, I had my espresso, I did my meditation, and then I went back into the kitchen and I emptied the dishwasher, and then I just completely gutted the cutlery drawer and the utensil drawer, and I organised everything. I took things out, I binned things that I'm never going to use, I streamlined everything. And that for me is real sort of mental clarity making stuff. Not an app, not a digitized system. For me, it's like, what do I have now? What am I working with? Right, how can I make that work more efficiently? Now, this office had looked a certain way for a while, and my friend Amy used to come around to my flat, this one and the old one. And every time there'd been a shift in furniture, she'd say, oh, you're getting organized. Like she would say, you can tell when there's something going on because you move your furniture around. This furniture in this office had always been the same. And pretty much always been the same for, I'd say, 18 months, 2 years. And then I just swapped 2 pieces of furniture around. The place feels completely different. It feels absolutely magnificent. It feels bigger, and it feels cleaner, and it feels more organized. And I got rid of loads of paperwork. I did tons of shredding of stuff that I didn't need anymore. I just got on top of stuff. I booked all the things that I had been putting off, like a car, not putting off, but I booked the car service that I should have booked when they texted me a week prior saying, your car's due for a service at the end of February. I should have booked it then. I didn't. I booked it a week in. But all of that got done. Then there was the same in my makeup room. And then there's been little things like I fold up my laundry, for example. I put something away, and then that part of the wardrobe gets cleaned. And that's been happening a lot recently. And I can't help but think that actually for me, and maybe the same will be true for you, for me, that is just a quicker route, not just to mental clarity, but it's also a quicker route to a more efficient version of me. Digitized me is a cyborg. It doesn't exist. It's unreal. The parameters within which it would have to work in order for me to be super organized just simply don't work, because I'm always I can't digitize everything that goes on in my brain. Like, again, when I saw my friend Andrea for coffee on Friday, she was talking about ChatGPT, and I had kind of, up until recently, thought that ChatGPT was something to be suspicious of. And more people are saying how they're using it to refine things like an elevator pitch, or to refine, like a friend of mine said, oh, I've got this injury at the moment, but I still want to do this kind of functional training. What would you recommend? And then, okay, yeah, no, that sounds great, but I can't do this, try again. And they got to the point where now the workout that they're doing has actually been generated by ChatGPT, which I thought was really interesting. Now, yeah, as you might be listening to this, and you might be saying there's some things to be suspicious of still with ChatGPT, and I can't remember what they are. But I thought, well, that's quite interesting. Maybe I should use that sort of thing to refine what I'm doing. Maybe I should say to ChatGPT, what is the best way to organize one's life if you have a creative brain, for example. I don't know if creative is the right way to say it, but I have so many things in my head, like think about ChatGPT, but the idea of putting that into Notion and setting myself an hour to take a look at and explore and have a look around ChatGPT, it just wouldn't happen. It's something that kind of comes to the surface. And I think more people are like that than are like a digitized app that tries to organize your time. So all of this is to say that, weirdly, being more organized might not have gone the way that I thought it would be, but it has, I think, gone well, and is making me appreciate the parts of myself, like the way that I can be suddenly inventive, suddenly creative, suddenly organized. I'm somebody who is more likely to get bursts of energy and then really go for it. I think it's making me appreciate that, rather than try to sort of dull those edges about myself, like blunt those parts of me down and fit them into a one-size-fits-all application, rather than celebrate the things about me that are, like, for example, Saturday night, I was cooking a lamb stew. Now, I'm a good cook. I have never cooked something so monstrously disgusting in my entire life. I followed a recipe, something went horribly, horribly wrong. And I mean, in the end, I said, shall I just take the cast iron thing that I have made this in and drive it to the tip? Because this is, not only is the food revolting, but I don't think that this cast iron casserole pot is fit for purpose anymore. I think that this must be destroyed. And I was quite heartbroken. But I made that, and I loved the methodical thing of putting everything in the pot, even though it went horribly wrong. It was with Guinness. I think the Guinness was wrong anyway. But then I was not bored, but I was like, but I've been enjoying doing the methodical thing. And luckily enough, you might argue, I'd been to IKEA that day, or my friend and I had been to IKEA that day. And there were a few bits of furniture that needed to be built. And whilst the rugby was on, I said, can I please build the shoe rack? And so that's what I did. And I was so happy, because sometimes I like to methodically work through a task. Now, one of the things that I asked Notion to help me with was read books this year, in the sense that I was going to sort of keep a timeline of books, and my aim was to read a book quite regularly. Well, I'm still on book one, and before I recorded this episode, I was texting Ruth Crilly, a model recommends. If you haven't read her book, How Not to Be a Supermodel, I highly recommend it. I actually recommend you get the audiobook. It is absolutely fantastic, and she tells it. I mean, it's beautifully written because she is an excellent writer, but she tells it, she reads it, and it's so... I read it, and because she's my friend, I know her voice, I know her intonation, so I kind of read it in the same way as when I read Arnold Schwarzenegger's autobiography. I kind of read it with his voice in my head. I was able to read Ruth's with Ruth's voice in my head. But if you don't have the luxury of being her friend, then trust me, reading it via Audible is utterly fantastic. But I was chatting to her. She is a prolific reader. And so I said to her, by the way, because I knew I was going to bring this up on the podcast, and I was thinking, I set out to read more this year and I haven't. How many books have you read this year? Bearing in mind today is the 10th of February. She said 6. I am still 2/3 of the way through one. She is a prolific reader. She's got muscle memory. I am really trying to get back into reading, and I'm failing miserably. I am up to date with Southern Hospitality, Southern Charm, The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, The Real Housewives of New York City, The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and Paradise. If you have not heard of or seen the Sterling K. Brown TV show Paradise, please may I recommend that you give it a look. He was on Graham Norton here in the UK, and they showed a clip and it was so interesting and fascinating. And it's on Disney Plus, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to give this a look. And my family have also been watching it, and we all feel the same. It is very, very clever, and the whole time, some of the episodes, there's sort of these slow patches, these slow parts where they really set up what's going to happen next. But it's so wonderful to watch something with such an original premise that makes you think in a way that a TV show hasn't made me think in a really long time. Anyway, I was very, very impressed by that. But that's another reason why I haven't been reading, because I've been watching things, and I must read more because it would be terrible not to. So I shan't take up too much of your time today. I'm hoping that the light is still, it's terrible here, isn't it? I'm trying to film in daylight, but there we go, I'll try and brighten it in post. Two things that have really bugged me today, and I don't like to be a ranter and a raver, I think it's completely pointless, but I want some company and feeling cross about these things. The first is when my Apple phone, my iPhone, my Apple Watch tells me my screen time. I don't care. I do not care. There is nothing I can do about it. So what do you want me to do? And I'm going to take this information and I'm just going to go, oh yeah, it should be less. And that's going to be my reaction every week. So I don't need that notification. So I think actually after this episode, I'm going to find a way to turn it off. The other one has got a nerve. When it says you're in a loud environment, what makes you think I wouldn't have noticed? What makes you think that I would not have noticed? I was at a dinner the other day, a big sort of almost like in a banquet hall dinner, lots of people, and it kept going, you're in a loud environment. Yes, I know. I'm surrounded by 150 people. There's cutlery clanging against plates. People are chatting. 150 people are talking. Of course I'm in a loud environment. What would you like me to do? I'm not going to remove myself from it because you told me that I'm in a loud environment. I know. I just think, I love Apple. I love the fact that you can take the phone out of the box and it works instantly. You press a couple of buttons and everything that you've ever done in your life is there. Pictures, audio, video, Instagram, emails. I love that it's so simple to use. But those to me are the daftest things that it tells me every week. Nothing I can do about it. Can you imagine if I'm at a work event and there's a lot of people talking and I excuse myself because I'm afraid the decibel level is high and it could cause long-term hearing damage? I'm not going to do that. Can you imagine? That to me is just the height of flakiness. Obviously, I don't like being in loud environments for very long, but the fact that my watch is now telling me I need to figure out how to turn that is really, really very annoying. So what I'm going to leave you with this week is a great tip that somebody sent me on DM that I didn't implement soon enough. If you are a migraine sufferer or indeed a headache sufferer, and you're one of those people, a little bit like me, whereby drugs don't really touch it, there's nothing that really takes the edge off, then try a can of Pepsi Max. Doesn't have to be a can, a glass, a can, a receptacle of Pepsi Max, and 2 soluble aspirin. Now I forget who it was, a follower very kindly messaged me probably about 3 years ago when I was talking about migraines on Instagram and said, I think she did research into migraines and said, this is the way. As soon as you start to feel it come on, Pepsi Max or Pepsi full fat Coke, whatever it is, and 2 soluble aspirin, provided that doesn't conflict with any medication that you might be on or any health condition. That is something that I thought, well, I'll give that a try. And you know what? That is one of the best pieces of advice I have ever been given, and I share it weekly. Because as soon as I think, oh, my eye's doing that funny thing that my eye does when a migraine's coming, or if I get a bit squinty, and that can often happen when I'm filming, which is why I'm liking filming in natural light, because if I use my big lights, sometimes they can trigger the auras, so I have to be a little bit careful. But anyway, that's a really good tip. And the other thing I would like you to share with me is book recommendations. I have 3 by my bed at the moment. One of them is the one that I'm reading, which is Jay Rayner's Nights In at Home, which is fantastic. But I am kind of reading it as a reading snack. It's about food, it's brilliant, I love the way he writes, but I'm sort of snacking on it as opposed to really getting into it. And I think I need a really good recommendation for some fiction. No pressure on Lindsay Kelp, but she needs to write some more books. Because I know she's got, maybe I can ask her for a Word document. That's cheeky though, isn't it? It's not published yet. not published yet. I can't do that. I'll ask her. Anyway, if you have any recommendations for fiction, please do let me know, because I'm really up for going on a romp with a book. I like a little bit of murder mystery. I like a mystery, in fact, but I also just fancy a romp, just a really good story that makes you laugh, sort of hold your belly and laugh kind of laughs. So if you have any of those, please do share them. Please do share their recommendations. You can share them by emailing me at office@emmaguns.com. You can follow me on Instagram, where I'm at emmaguns. You can subscribe to my Substack, which I'd really love for you to do, please. And the link to join that will be in the show notes. And you can also, what's the other thing that I've missed? Substack, Twitter, not Instagram, not Twitter anymore, Facebook group now. Comment under this video, I think that was the other one. Or if you're listening on Spotify, you can also comment underneath the podcast. But any recommendations, I would love to hear them. And if you are somebody as well who's felt this pressure, this just stupid amount of pressure to get super organised, and every time you do, you come up against the same hurdles as I do, and it makes you feel bad about yourself, then let's talk about that. I'm not going to feel bad about myself anymore. I'm just not that organised. But am I organised? Do I get stuff done? Yes, I do. So why am I trying to 10x myself, as the tech entrepreneur bros would say? I'm kind of doing all right. And the other thing is, I talked about this, I think, the other day, but this whole idea, it was on a Substack article where I talked about the idea of, say, for example, let's use the utensil drawer. When one tidies the utensil drawer or the Tupperware drawer, one is doing it to make the space more efficient and neater. But what happens is you end up making more room. And I think when we get more organised, we can sometimes fill those gaps with more stuff. And then we have to organise again. But what I want to do is go, okay, this is what I can do, and this is how I would like it to look, rather than this is what I can do, so I'm going to put that as tightly packed in one corner as I can and fit in as much more. It's so much more, because all I'm going to do then is stress myself out. And if I do have the same number of hours in the day as Beyonce, but I have no interest in winning a Grammy or going on a world tour. I mean, I would like to go on a world tour. No, but you know what I mean? I mean, I don't have the same goals as Beyonce, so why would I use the hours in the same way? Doesn't make any sense. Do you know what I mean? Does Beyonce go to IKEA on a Saturday afternoon for 3 hours and have the time of her life buying espresso cups for £1? No, she doesn't. I do, and I'm happy with that. So let's stop trying to make ourselves the most efficient version of ourselves, and maybe let's make ourselves the most, I don't know, well-balanced. I think that's a good place. I think that's a good place to stop. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for getting in touch with me. Genuinely, over the last few months, you have sent me some of the best messages I have ever received as a broadcaster, saying how much you like the more personal, just me chatting, whether it's down the lens or in your AirPods, earphones, however it is that you consume it. I've had so many wonderful messages from you. You have no idea how much that means, because sometimes when you're creating content, you don't necessarily know what people are thinking. You don't necessarily get a huge amount of feedback. So to get this from you, to get these messages from you, has just been utterly wonderful and has really helped me sit down and create episodes that I hope you find to be good company and hopefully interesting and maybe spark a conversation. And when you message me to tell me that that is what has happened, I feel it's just really pleasing, and it's very generous of you to do that, and I accept your generosity and I really appreciate it. So don't be shy about getting in touch. office@emmaguns.com. Comment below, comment under here on Spotify, Instagram, Emma Guns, and please do go and subscribe to my Substack. There's like 4,000 people now who are subscribing, and the more people that subscribe, the more I'm able to put time into it to write more features. And I don't always, some of the features on Substack are really long, so I'm actually trying to keep them quite sort of punchy, 500 words. But I would really love for you to go over there and subscribe. All of the links, everything will be in the show notes under this video, etc., etc. But thank you so much for listening, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.